Okay. Hi, hello. Welcome, welcome. That's a little too much. This is a brand new microphone. And um, just let me know if it's too loud or too quiet. I can adjust it. I did a sound check before we started. Also, if it's like super out of sync, I can adjust that. It seemed fine in sound check, but also I tend to get a lot more excited once I'm actually doing the thing. And when I get excited, I get really loud. And then people yell at me because they're wearing headphones, and I understand that. I always feel like I should level my priest when I watch your stream. I am kind of a diehard priest fanatic. Hi Hazel said thank you to corgis. Me and Norma watched at home. Honestly, I think home is probably one of the better ways to do it just because I was, so they did the opening ceremonies, right? There was the WoW opening ceremonies. And then there was supposed to be a half-hour break before the WoW panel, but it ended up being like 13 minutes because the opening ceremonies went like a little bit long. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take a real quick shower. I feel like I could use a shower, so I just like jumped in the shower and got out in time. Just like making my lunch. And I'm thinking, all those people in the convention center, they can't take a shower whenever they want. They would have to like go back to their hotel. I have the fastest shower potential of anybody watching this, except for everybody else that's watching at home. But yeah, I had a great time with the virtual ticket, although I definitely want to go for sure. The mic sounds strange, it's fine, you loud never, fine in terms of volume, but it's strange? Okay. Is it clear? It is a ton more in sync than your old mic, okay. So yeah, so I'm back to a wired lapel mic. I have a very, very long tether this time, so this should reach to anywhere in the kitchen. I'm probably going to trip on it, that's just going to have to be my life. I have discovered that, I don't know how many mics we've tried on these streams, but the wireless ones, we've gone through like 7 of them, and I think I just need to stop buying them. I think they're just not going to work. I'm wondering if it's too close range, because I need a wireless mic, but I only need to use it with like a 3 to 9 foot range, right? Like I don't need to go any farther than that, and some of them might not work that close. So maybe that's my problem, I don't know. In any case, I've given up and I just have a very long leash, and that's my life for now. Also, this one should work with the with my vlogging camera, so whenever I want to do like another meal time, I'll have a better mic, because I know the meal time mic last time kind of sucked. What are you doing, bud? Anyways, this week we're going to be making, I'm on the wrong page here. I was looking for the page, I had the page number, and then I started talking, so I completely forgot. We're making rice puddings. This is going to be a real easy one. Well, easy, I say that now. You can clip that, and then later when I've absolutely burned everything, you can show me that and be like, ha! Ha! Alright, page 185. So I keep calling it Pandaren rice pudding because it is rice pudding with Pandaren spices. It's just called rice pudding in the book. Here, this is what we're looking at. She has it like in a box with like a paper thing. Don't burn the pudding. I'll try, Norma, I'll try. Somebody left me a really informative comment on my vlog about how to not burn rice pudding, but that was for a rice pudding that you bake in the oven, and this recipe goes nowhere near the oven, so I don't know how to translate that. Basically, what we've got here, this is a very simple recipe. We've got 6 ingredients, and you basically put them all in a saucepan, you bring it to a bubbling simmer, and then you stir it so that it doesn't burn to death, and cook it for like half an hour, and then you have rice pudding. So we're going to try that. Our ingredients are whole milk in the fridge, arborio rice, which is under here. I'm going to make some substitutions because I don't have some of these things, but it asks for raw sugar. I have sugar that I've never cooked before. Oh, you think I should use brown sugar? Because it calls for raw sugar. I could use brown sugar or I could use white sugar. That's the sum of the different amounts of sugar that I have available to me. It also calls for half a vanilla bean, split lengthwise, seeds scraped out. I don't got that. I don't got no vanilla beans, and if I did, I don't know if I would be splitting them lengthwise and scraping out the seeds. Like, I feel like that's a very 6th Harry Potter book thing, you know, you gotta like stir it counterclockwise and crush it instead of chopping your bean. No nuts for donates. Norma, I adjusted it. I guess I could bring back some nuts for donates. Also, thank you very much for the 5. But the nuts for donates thing was a little bit wonky with other currencies. Like whenever somebody would donate in, I think it was Swedish kroners, or there was another currency that just had very, very high numbers, they would get like a load of nuts. And I mean, that's fine, but it's not quite as fair for people like you that are donating in American dollars. So instead, channel sponsors will now earn nuts at a 2x rate. And I've taken away extra nuts for donates because there was no way to do it other than on a per currency unit basis. Cane, white sugar. I hope the new expansion is on the PTR soon. I hope so too. I didn't donate for nuts, I donate because you're awesome. Aw, thank you, Norma. I finally finished the swap back to Alliance, my original faction, after being Horde since the beginning of Legion to play with a couple friends. Seeing your apron gives me feelings. Isn't the apron cool? I love this thing. If I was being a fair and righteous I mean, I'm not a leader, but if I was trying to be super, super fair, I would probably have a horde apron too and alternate, but that would just be living a lie. Okay, so I'm gonna get my ingredients out. Milk's in the fridge, that can stay in the fridge for now. Rice, sugar. Do I use brown sugar? Raw sugar. I could Google it, but my computer is busy. I got Naxi Hazel, I still need Cursed Berman. Isn't Hallow's End over? I guess you can still buy it on the auction house. I would try and buy it sooner rather than later if you can. What do you think about the Hearthstone part of the opening ceremony? Many told me they found it awful. Oh, I thought that was hilarious. I really enjoyed how the crowd was just like, you know, in the game sense, they were just out for death. They were like, you know, take us down the fire road. It was so funny. I thought the whole D&D type thing was really cool. I enjoyed that a lot. It almost made me want to play Hearthstone again, and then I logged back into Hearthstone and I remember that I've skipped like 3 expansions and I don't have any of the cards. I'm like, well, I'm going to make a deck and do my quests, and I'm looking at all these deck lists for, like, new decks that people have been using, and I'm like, I have none of this. And I have a lot of dust, but I don't want to use my dust. I don't want to use my dust on something until I know I really want to play that deck, and I'm never going to play that much Hearthstone. I am really excited, though. Hang on, I'm looking for my rice. Ugh. I think I have 2 things of this, because I got arboreal rice to make rice pudding with, and then I completely forgot about it for, like, half a year. And then I was like, I should make rice pudding, and I get more arboreal rice, and I look in the cupboard, and I'm like, oh, I have a ton of this stuff now, especially because this is only going to use half a cup of it, and I have 2 pounds here and another 2 pounds down there, so I need to get really good at making rice pudding. Rice pudding is actually one of my favorite desserts, like a super, super favorite comfort food of mine. I'd order one if it had a Split Horde and Alliance logo. You must be all about that shirt then, that shirt that they brought it at BlizzCon that had like the Battle for Azeroth thing with like the Alliance and then the Horde. I wanted that, and I thought about ordering that, but as soon as I think about ordering anything, it's a very slippery slope where I'm like, well, I don't have the Alec plushie yet, and I'm like, oh, there's that Raptor thing, and then it's like, oh, there's a new Shadow plush, and then by the end of it, you've just got, I can't spend this money, I can't do it. It's too much, and I can't do it right now. Okay, so there's the rice, raw sugar. I think we're gonna go for white sugar. Deck build for people who haven't played in forever. Yeah, the problem would be, I mean, if I could find a deck for people that haven't played in forever. It wouldn't be any good, though, because I'm not very good at deck building. Oh, my cat's giving me the headbutts. You want to say hi? You want a real quick up? Oh, I'm going to put you over here so that you're not on my microphone. But that's weird. That's not how I hold you, is it? You want to say hi? Hello. This is my cat. Okay. You good? Oh, it's good, kitty. What am I looking for? Sugar. Sugar. Oh, I have kind of banished my sugar down here. I had a really, really bad dentist appointment a couple of weeks. It was like last Tuesday or Wednesday, or maybe, yeah, it was last Tuesday, so it was a week ago tomorrow. So a little bit of history. I have some issues with my teeth, mostly like periodontal issues. Like I went a couple of years in my late teenage years without going to the dentist. And by the end of it, basically, even though I brush and floss many times every day, I still can't get my gums quite clean, so I have some gum infection. It's under control, but it's not great, and it makes for really, really traumatizing dental visits where they just stab you a lot. But the upside is that I'm taking care of my teeth really well because I'm trying really hard to manage that, so I brush and floss and do all sorts of dental stuff, like a lot of, like every time I eat, 3-4 times throughout the day, so I never cavities. And I mean, it's the one thing I kind of held on to. And I went to the dentist Tuesday, and I get my cleaning, and I haven't slept, and there, you know, it was like a really long cleaning, and it really hurt. And then the dentist comes out, and he's like, Hazel, you have 4 cavities, and I was not happy. I was so not happy. It wasn't fair. But that's life. So now I brush my teeth more. Also, I've kind of banished the sugar because sugar is evil and it's trying to rot my teeth, and I like my teeth and I'm keeping them. So that's why I haven't gotten that out lately. But it's all right as long as you swish with water. And I have these dorky straws for my tea now. And I just brush my teeth an awful lot. It's a very good thing that I work from home. What am I looking for? Bay leaf and spices. So instead of vanilla bean, I'm just going to use vanilla extract. I'm thinking like half a teaspoon, maybe a teaspoon. So I gotta find that. Unfortunately, I'm constantly losing my vanilla extract because I used to keep it in the same cupboard where I now keep my tea, and tea is kind of like taken over until nothing else fits there. So some things have been displaced, but I still look for them here, and sometimes I put them there. All right, so actually here are my bay leaves because we're gonna need one of these. This recipe calls for bay leaves. We're gonna need cinnamon, cloves, cardamom. The Pandaren spices are like a spice mix that they want you to pre-mix, but I didn't do it. So yeah, cinnamon, cloves, cardamom. They're also asking for anise, fennel, and Szechuan peppercorns. Those 3 things I do not have. But if this turns out really well, maybe I will look for them in the future. What games do you play besides WoW? I play mostly just WoW, honestly. I play a lot of WoW. When I do get to play other games, I play Pokemon Go on my phone. I'm a pretty avid Pokemon Go player. I play Dark Souls whenever one of those comes out. I love Dark Souls. And Bloodborne was good too, but mostly the main series Dark Souls games. I had a big Don't Starve kick, and then other Blizzard stuff. I play Overwatch, usually if I'm drinking with my friends, and I play a little bit of Hearthstone now and then, but mostly a lot of WoW. Try the charcoal stuff, helps gums. I'm trying pretty much everything. You wouldn't believe how many things I've different tried. That apron is an Alliance Tavern. Yeah, it is! Okay, I'm looking for vanilla. Also, my cat is back, and usually she runs away after I pick her up and make her look at the camera, so I don't know why she's back. Ugh. I gave her a fright today by accident. I was making my lunch. I had like a piece of pita bread that I had toasted, and oh, there it is. And I guess I toasted it too much. So the fire alarm went off, because fire alarms in these places are really sensitive. And it's like a really loud screeching noise, and she's already upset about that. And I pick up a box to like fan the alarm, because that's how you make it go off. You can't reset it, you just have to clear the air around it. It won't stop until it's clear. So I pick up this box, and then I realize I picked up the cat box, and she just like shoots out like a bullet. She's just so mad that not only was there a screeching sound, but I've like taken her cave out from over her. I felt pretty bad. Okay, cinnamon, cloves, cardamom. Cinnamon, cloves, cardamom. I'm just kind of getting everything out because I know I'm going to need it all at once. Cloves. I have things like cloves in like 5 different things because I can never find them, so I buy more and then I find them. I use cloves when I make gingerbread cookies, which is like my favorite thing to make. One of the December streams is going to have to be gingerbread cookies. I know I made a video about it before, but I just adore that recipe. Is there enough in here? I think we don't need very much. Cinnamon, cloves, cardamom. Now, cardamom I use when I'm making the firecracker salmon. And it always makes me sneeze, but it's delicious. Okay, I think that's everything. So we need a saucepan, a medium saucepan. I have a small one. It's going to have to do. Oh, no, I shouldn't. Because we're making this with milk, it's basically just boiling a lot of milk with some rice and spices in it. It's going to expand like a lot. So if I do it in a really small saucepan, it's going to boil over. Here, I'll show you the pans that I have. I'll show you. So I have this one, which I usually make like pasta in. It's pretty small. And then I have this one, which is huge. I guess it's better to make it in a bigger one than a smaller one. Because I think 4 cups is going to fill this like halfway full, and it is going to expand. You're looking for vanilla? Blizzard announced it at BlizzCon. They did, that's true. I just got my first legendary today. I got my class ring and the container from an emissary quest. Congrats, Adam. I have not been able to find a legendary on my hunter. I'm kind of starting to give up. I've been doing emissaries and invasions on her for like 2 weeks. Nothing. What up, Hazel? Hey, how you doing? What do you think of the BFA cinematic? It was gorgeous. I really like what they've done with the character faces. Like Anduin's face when he's doing the thing. Awesome. I know some people weren't really happy with the visual direction they've taken Sylvanas in because it's very distinctly different than what they've done before, but I think it fits her character. If you're consistently stirring it, it won't boil over, I would hope. Will you play WoW Classic when it comes out? I don't plan on it. Something might change my mind. I don't know what would. I've never really wanted to play WoW Classic. That was never my thing. Rice pudding in a baking stream? This is a cooking stream. Pulls off sunglasses. Yeah, that's true. I won't argue with that. You're not wrong. All right. Any opinions on the pan? Easier to clean a big pot than it is to scrub burned milk. Yeah. True dat. Blizzard just disabled my Lego drop once I got my 5th 110. It can totally feel like that. Didn't they remove legendaries with old emissaries? I don't think so. Made Anduin into a young Leo DiCaprio and I felt like I was 10 years old again. I always knew Anduin was going to be fine. I always knew that we were going to get the Anduin that we always deserved. Anduin's been my favorite for a long time, and I'm so excited to see him all grown up. It's about time. All right, we're using big pot. So I'm going to measure out 4 cups of whole milk. You know what I've been meaning to get? Not for this specifically, but just in general, is a food scale. I think I've finally been convinced because I've been trying to, I'm just going to measure this stuff over here so I can talk to you guys. I've been trying to really perfect a pastry, like a pie dough, a pie crust for tarts, and also I like to make quiche, And I just want to be able to make my own really easily. I have everything I need. I have a food processor, I have a pastry thing, I got some pie weights. I have pie weights over here that I've been using. I have everything that I should need in order to be able to do that. And I'm just trying to, I'm troubleshooting my pie crust issues one at a time. I'm kind of closing in on something that I like. It worked really well for tart crust. I made these really nice blackberry tarts, but then it didn't go so well for the quiche that I made yesterday, so I'm still working on it. I'm hoping to have it nailed down by the time we get her into pumpkin pie, which is our second baking string of November. But I'm wondering, I think being able to measure stuff like the flour really specifically is going to help me out. Okay, I'm going to stop talking until I've measured 4 of these, or I am going to lose count. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right. Okay. I think for when we're actually cooking this, I'm going to obviously have it on the stove and I'm going to be stirring it. I might bring my stool in. I'm wondering if I can bring my camera closer. If I could set it on maybe this counter, it would be really low. It might be like a really unflattering upwards angle. We're gonna see. I'll mess around with it. All right, so that's the milk, and we're gonna need a half a cup of arborio rice. So that's over here. I'll probably measure that in 2 quarters because the mouth of this thing is kind of small. So that's my 1/4 cup. The boy king will offer 3 lies. Finally, I made it to see you live cooking. Welcome, King Mandarin Rin, Queen of the Black Dragonfly. You'd rather kill Anduin for my Vol'jin back? Everybody has an opinion. I do miss Vol'jin. I think Vol'jin was super cool. I think he was gone too soon. I feel like his story was a real letdown. Looking forward to Jaina returning and hopefully not going, yeah, stereotypical crazy. I don't think she's going to be crazy. I agree with what they said at BlizzCon. You know, she's not evil. She's not insane. She's just a real character. She's flawed. She's made the choices. She probably regrets some of them. But they were shaped by what happened to her. And, alright, so that's 1/4 cup, and then a 1/2 cup. Okay, so that's the rice and the milk, which is basically the beginning of all that you need. Everything else is just to make it taste better. But that should be good for that. 1/4 cup of sugar. 1/4 cup of sugar. We're using white sugar. If I try this again, I might try it with brown sugar and see if I like the difference. I feel like when I used to make rice pudding, I made it with brown sugar, but I also burned it every single time, so there's that. Okay. And then our flavoring. So we need a little bit of vanilla. I'm going to go with a 1/2 teaspoon. I don't want to overdo the vanilla. I don't want necessarily vanilla flavored rice pudding. It's supposed to be like kind of that Pandaren spiciness. Do you think Rathian is the prince who told us 3 lies, or Manduin? I mean, I'm kind of out of the loop. I actually don't know what the 3 lies are from. It kind of sounds like one of the prophecies from A Song of Ice and Fire, because that series had prophecies everywhere. And one of the main themes was that prophecies don't really have any power until people choose to believe in them. And then once people are believing in them, those people behave in ways that actually brings the prophecies to life. So I think that would be an interesting direction for them to go with it. I don't know if that's what they're doing. I've never heard of this before. I need to catch up. I need to just go on like a novel video binge. He probably knows. He always knows what's up. First time catching your cooking stream. Welcome, Big Bad Beardo. I don't like the new expansion idea. I think we need to know more about it. I feel like we got a very bare bones look at it. I know there were some people in my guild that were kind of disappointed that we're not getting anything super groundbreaking. It almost kind of feels like more of the same, like they're fixing some of the issues that people had with Legion and then they're creating new content. But they were kind of expecting something else. And I understand why they feel that way, but I don't really know what we're expecting. I don't think it's really boring. See you later, have fun, don't burn the pudding. I will try, Brian. You listen to the Vol'jin novel and love it, but Vol'jin's death was a waste. He did nothing. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. He really didn't, like, he became war chief and was like, well, bye. Sorry about that. Didn't last very long. Alright, so that's the vanilla. Now we need the bay leaf. One of these bad boys. They're sad that they didn't announce any release dates. I didn't really think we would get a release date. A release season would have been kind of nice. Didn't they say, like, when they first announced Legion Gamescom, didn't they say summer? I know that once they've actually officially announced a release date, then or a release range, they have to stick to that. There's some legal thing they have to do, so maybe they're just not sure. They're not sure at this point. So between the cinnamon and the cloves and the cardamom, we're supposed to have about a teaspoon worth of spices. So not very much. I don't usually mind going a little heavier on spices than recipes call for like a little extra flavor. And more cinnamon than cloves and cardamom. So I'm thinking half a teaspoon of cinnamon and then a quarter teaspoon each of cloves and cardamom. That should be about the right proportions. So let me get my spoons back. I rinsed it, I dried it. All right, half a teaspoon of cinnamon. I never know that bay leaf goes into rice pudding. You learn something new every day. I've never heard of that either. This is the first recipe I've ever seen do that. I'm interested to see how it turns out, because most of these spices are sweet for like a sweet dessert pudding, but there's a couple of them, like cardamom in particular, they're pretty kicky kind of spice. And then cinnamon has its own heat. I got the cinnamon spice black tea that is like drinking cinnamon candy. It's so cinnamony. I don't really know what to do with my mouth when I'm drinking it. I think I like it, but it's just like so much overwhelming cinnamon that you don't really get much else of it, and that's a little bit sad. You had my curiosity, but the bay leaf got that putting my attention. I'm really curious to see. We'll try some of this at the end of the stream. This should be one of the baking streams where we actually get to eat the thing. Basically, we are going to cook this on the stove for about half an hour, and we'll get a good chat in. And then I'm going to try it. That's kind of the plan. And then if it's good, then I have another, pound and a half of arboreal rice to make rice pudding with, so that'll be something. Okay. So that's pretty much the spices. We're looking like that. You've got like a leaf, and I need to stir that. I absolutely need to stir that. Okay, let's clean up. Actually, let's just get that in the heat. So I'm going to throw that over here. It doesn't say how hot to do it. Obviously not super hot because you don't want to burn it. Milk will absolutely burn. Oh no, it does say medium heat, which is exactly what we've done. So let me give it a good stir. Because we got some sugar in there too that we should get rid of. Well, not get rid of, but like get good and mixed in. So we're going to bring it to a bubbling simmer and then reduce and stir occasionally to make sure that it doesn't stick. So it doesn't say constantly stir. I'm tempted to constantly stir anyways, just because I have seen so many. I mean, obviously I don't think it's going to escape out of that pot. I definitely think that making it the smaller one would have been a huge mistake. Like this is filling this like over a third full, and that would have been way too much for the small one. And we're also going to take the bay leaf out at the end, don't worry. There is a step that says remove the bay leaf and discard. Oh, we're all pretty nuts. If Teldrassil being torched begins a battle for Azeroth, I'll burn the tree myself to get started. I have screenshots of my fire mage casting Flame Strike. Man, that's fighting words right there. I feel like that screenshot, and I don't even play, I play on Gnome, but that screenshot of Teldrassil burning got more of an emotional response from me than anything else in that announcement, I think. Like, Teldrassil is my comfort place. Like, if I've had just a really terrible day or something really awful's happened to me, I'll make a brand new Night Elf for no reason other than to play through the Night Elf starting area and read all the quests and get lost in those same really basic stories again. Like, I love that. That place is my happy place, and somebody is burning it. I'm gonna get him. That would be the thing that makes me get back into PvP. Nothing. I'm mad. I have feelings. I have deep feelings about that. Okay, so just keep stirring that. I guess I clean up. I make some tea. I'm going to start the 30-minute timer once we actually get to a simmer. I feel like that's going to take a while here, but I'm not going to turn up the heat too much. We want to take it easy on that for sure. So let's clean up, and then we'll make some tea. I'm feeling like a green or an oolong tea this afternoon. I've kind of been, I still drink black tea with like a little bit of milk maybe in the morning, but I drink it. Like I said, I have these stainless steel straws now to get it past my teeth, and then I'm like swishing with water, and then I finish my tea, and then I immediately go brush my teeth. I'm just so afraid now. I have to get 4 cavities filled in one day. I'm having that done next Tuesday, I think. On the 14th? Is that next Tuesday? I'm having it done. 4 cavities. I've had like 2 cavities in my life. I'm so disappointed in myself, and it's not like I'm not brushing my teeth. Oh gosh, are you shooketh? And by that tree burning, super shooketh. Don't burn trees. I'm not caught up on all the BlizzCon news. Do we know anything about what is going to happen to our artifact weapons? Welcome, nerds. Nerds over 40. We don't know exactly what's happening to our artifact, but we do know that we're not bringing it. They said that we're leaving those behind. We're going to have that medallion instead that we empower with Azurite that kind of opens up different traits on different weapon, or what am I saying? Armor slots. But our artifact weapons will be staying behind. They haven't said exactly what story reason that they're going to use in order to get us to do that, though. We don't know that yet. Okay. I've cleaned up nothing so far. I'm so good at doing that on stream. I say I'm going to do a thing, and then I just start talking, and then I never do anything. I do that in WoW streams, too. I think that's pretty normal. I feel like it's pretty normal to get pretty distracted for the Alliance. You love Teldrassil, too? The music in the Temple of the Moon is heavenly. Your personal paradise would be sitting under the giant trees under the eternal night. Yeah. Also, when I met my husband, before I moved to America, hang on, I actually have to text him. Unrelated. I met my husband online, and we dated long distance for like a long time, like a couple of years. And one of the dates that I remember most, our online dates, was I made him log on to WoW on Valentine's Day, and we made night elves, and we rode around in those little boats around Darnassus, and that was, I have a screenshot somewhere from that. It was just the cutest thing ever. Did you see the Hogger cosplay that won? I did. I actually saw a whole bunch of that Hogger cosplay leading up to the convention. Like, I saw it all over Twitter before the costume contest even happened. I didn't see it. I didn't see the section of the costume contest where it walked on. I watched the first half, and then I had to get up and like go make dinner. So I was really surprised by that big, I don't know what it's called. It's a StarCraft thing. It had like a big trail. It was like a Zerg mob. I don't remember the name of it, unfortunately, but it was an incredible costume. I was like, if that doesn't win, it has to be at least top 3. But the Hogger was really, really well done. Oh boy. All right, cinnamon up there, sugar down here. Put the rice back into the place where I'm going to forget about it again. And then bay leaves. It's okay if I forget where the bay leaves are. I never use those. I guess I use them sometimes. Sometimes I make a vegetable soup and I'll stick one in there. No artifact after gathering all that power. Yeah. You're going to miss Hattie following me around. They didn't give you some way to keep it. I don't know. When I play my hunter, because my hunter ult is Beast Mastery, I feel like sometimes it's a lot of people, because like I'll have me and my pet, so me and my pet and Hati, and then my battle pet, and then my combat follower, and I swear sometimes she has a pet. That's 6 things. That's too many different people. One thing that I'm concerned about, or curious about rather, I'm making tea. One thing that I'm curious about is so they said that they said, I swear, in a Q&A somewhere, and maybe I'm wrong, but I thought they said in a Q&A somewhere that we're not doing followers again. Like, some part of the class order hall type mission boardy tech might make it through, but not in the same form that it's in, and we're not going to be recruiting followers again. So what does that mean for combat followers? Because I like combat followers. Like, I could go either way on the mission board thing. I would be fine if they keep it. I would be fine if they ditch it. But I really like having, especially on a character like a healer, or when you're under-geared, or, you know, you're just lonely. I really like being able to have a character that you get to know that follows you around and helps you out when you're doing your world quests. So I hope that they find a way to implement that even without the typical follower system, because I would be really sad if we didn't get combat followers. Stir, please? You're making me nervous. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Trying to do something like this in a stream is just a hazard in itself. Alright. I don't think it's all that warm yet. That's why you play marksman, no pets. No, I need the pet, though. It seems like it's either no pets or all of the pets. Like, I want just, like, one pet, maybe, like, a battle pet, because I always have to have a battle pet. That was Zagara Hazel? Thank you. I thought it was something like that. I kept calling it Nagura, but then I realized that's that WoW streamer. Nagura is, like, a raider. That's wrong. If Teldrassil is going to be Torsen, put out Astronor. Speaking of the cata damage, we just fixed the Stormwind cata damage. How could like they attack it all over again? I want to see exactly what happens to the world. Like, is this Cataclysm 2.0? like, I know that we're, like, attacking Undercity, and that the implication is that Undercity falls, and that if you want to do stuff in Undercity at max level as a Horde character, you're going to need to talk to a Bronze Dragon and send it back in time. Like, it's not going to be the city that it is today. But that's huge. That's huge. Like, those cities have been cities for such a long time. Like, that has huge implications on the leveling process. I guess it doesn't have implications on the leveling process because it won't scale until next level. I want to know. I want to see more about how all this works. You got me into pets. Now I have the Safari Hat. That Safari Hat is super, super useful. Stir. We're stirring. It's barely even warm yet. I guess it's okay. It's warm. It's got some steam. It says stirring occasionally. What kind of tea am I making? I'm making oolong tea. But what kind of oolong tea? I want... Where to go? I have this... Yeah, my 2016 Benchon oolong. That's the one. It's a very floral oolong, but I've taken to it quite heavily lately. Oh, okay. Combat followers with the whole Pirate v Navy thing would be super awesome if we could hire mercenaries like in the Warcraft RTS. That'd be alright. Fairly geared, so I don't really need the pets, so I don't care about pets. I don't need them for the damage. I need them because they're fluffy. You're sure that they'll ditch all followers? As for the weapons, I hope they give us a ceremony to return them to a secured storage area. I like that, a storage area. Just like one big warehouse for all of them. That'd be pretty good. If they make pet PvP an app, I'd play that. I would too. I absolutely would too. Speaking of app games, I think I talked about this in the last stream. Maybe not. Maybe I just was talking about this to my friends. But this isn't a Blizzard thing at all, but I am dying to play Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. I am a big Animal Crossing fan. I got into it pretty late, like just with New Leaf on the 3DS. And I love Animal Crossing New Leaf on the 3DS. But I haven't been playing it lately. And there's going to be the phone one, and I've like looked at all the info, and I read all the news, and I check for new news every day because I'm dumb. And Australia has it as kind of like a limited release. They don't have all of the features, but they have pretty much most of it. And it's releasing to the rest of the world in late November, and every day I'm like, is it late November yet? And I look at the calendar, and it's like November 6th, and I'm like, well, when is it going to be late November? I want to know. I need it. I check so often. It's so silly. And it's not even going to be like a super crazy engaging game. I just really want to play Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. Like a warehouse 13 for the weapons. Yeah. My cat is sleeping on his back with his paws tucked in near the TV. That sounds super cute. I want all the pets. As long as we can burn that sewer pipe city, I will be happy. That'll make me feel better about the whole tree thing, to be honest with you. I don't know if it'll fix it, but it'll definitely make me feel better. So let's get out the green teapot that is green in, like a leaf. What if Blizzard implemented a pet battle raid? Multiple players could send in their pets to fight one boss simultaneously. I think it's an interesting concept. I don't think they would do it because one, if they were going to do that kind of thing, Pet Battle Dungeons would have been the place to start. Pet Battle Dungeons absolutely would have been the place to start that kind of technology. Secondly, alright, so I think we're kind of simmering now, so I'm going to turn down the heat. I'm going to set a 30-minute timer. And I'm going to finish making my tea, and I'm going to keep stirring that as often as I remember to. So, yeah, like Pet PvP already only requires 2 people. And it already has really long queue times outside of the 1 week where there's like a reward for it. So I think that if you had to have friends, you either have to actually find actual friends that want to do it, which is unlikely. No, not everybody has friends that do pet battles. Or you have to queue for it, which could be a really long queue time. I think gameplay-wise, they could totally do it in like a turn. Like there's lots of games that have done turn-based combat, in a multiplayer kind of scenario. But I don't see it. I don't see it happening. The yellow teapot makes a return to the stream. It is green. I swear it is green. If we lose Undercity, where are the undead going to that can't hang out and brill? I mean, we got some shovels. We can dig some new graves. I mean that in the nicest way possible. I love undead. It's one of my favorite horde races. Although I think that Zandalari trolls might be my new favorite after the sub races because they just look the male ones stand up straight, which is cool, but the female ones I think look awesome. It does look yellow. It's something to do with the way color is translated on the stream. And it is a yellowish green, but I promise you it's green. I promise it's green. Hello, Hazel and friends. Welcome, Gunzi. Legion is better than WoD when it comes to quantity of content. Absolutely. I would totally agree with that. WoD felt written off. WoD felt like they got halfway through and they realized people were really mad about the garrisons and how little you got out of garrisons, and they were like, oh no, we gotta do something else. And they just kind of dropped it and went in working on Legion. Fighting words, right? Are those Hazel magnets? Yeah, you like them? There's Hazel Wave and then the icon, and then Hazel Love, and that's the sponsor net icon. I ordered those. I only ordered one of each of them. It's not something you can. I mean, you could buy it if you like save the image and then order them yourself, but I don't have any merch. But I just wanted to kind of like chop up a little bit the glare on the fridge from the lights, and it doesn't really do much, but I feel like it helps at least a little bit, and I think they're cute. Okay, so tea is brewing. Tea is almost done. The tea timer is on my phone. That is stirring. I can put my tea back away. We have 27 minutes on the timer. I'm trying to think of how I can move stuff closer. So if that's my tea timer. I'm trying to think of how I can rearrange my kitchen so that we can all sit a little closer to the stove. Because I would set my stool up like here. I would need to be able to read chat, so I would need to bring the laptop close. The laptop, or like I'd get like a tablet or my phone. And then the camera. The camera's the big thing, right? So okay. So if the stool was right here. Let's try that out. I probably won't be able to get in the fridge, but that's fine. Okay, so I can steer and I can talk, and that's fine. I could just get chat over here on a tablet and talk to you guys from here. I don't want it to feel like I'm just like on a device and not talking to you guys, even if I am talking to you guys. Cause what if I put it in the dish rack? Is that crazy? What if we do? And then once we're sitting, can I angle it up? Oh, I can drop it. That's oops. Whoops daisies. It's a miracle this camera's still alive. Okay. There we go. Oh, that thing's warm. Yeah, see, that's the angle I was afraid of. I don't think that's exactly how I want to do this. Because the problem is that this is a very short tripod, so we definitely lose some height. I think that's better, though. I think that's better. I'll move it back later. So now I just need to be able to read the chat, because you guys are really far away. Let me grab my tablet. Hang on, can I grab my tablet? I'm just gonna use my phone. It's here. In the meantime, you can, there we go. I really want to go back to WoW, but WoD killed it for me last time. I think Legion definitely did a lot better than Warlords, for sure. For sure. You hope they get some good stuff to Goblins. Mine is a Shaman. What if they added Vulpera as a sub-race? Because people were saying that those use the Goblin model. So I could totally see. I guess those aren't very goblin-y. I think, live chat, there we go. I think that they said that, Worgen and goblins weren't really getting, like, they were having, there is going to be new goblin and Worgen art and possibly animations, but not for launch and possibly not during this expansion. So, hopefully one day. Goblins are one of my preferred races. What sub-races are you Pete's gonna make? I'm leaning towards a Dark Iron Pansy rogue and a Void Elf Holy Priest for irony. I think Void Elf Priest is gonna be really cool. I cooled down a little bit towards the idea based, like, compared to where I was, sorry. The camera cuts me off whenever I sit up. Compared to where I was for, on that BlizzCon vlog that I made. Let me try not to spill hot tea myself. Put that over. That's fine. That's fine. That burner's not on. Okay. Alright, now we're talking. Because I looked at Void Elves and I realized they are Blood Elves. They are Blood Elves for Alliance, they just have a different story, and I've never really liked playing a Blood Elf personally. I always felt they were like a little too skinny. which is kind of funny. But I just felt their models looked like they didn't have a lot of muscle on them, or at least the female ones. And then the laugh and the voices got me. So I need to like mess around with Void Elves and see what their animations look like, what their I'm gonna put that down for a minute because it's hot. What their animations look like, what their voices sound like, what kind of hairstyles they have access to. I want to like. I love the idea because I'm very much like Team Purple, everything Shadow Priesty, and if I can make my Shadow Priesty any more Shadow Priesty by being a literal Void Elf, I think that's amazing. But I need to get my hands on it and figure out how distinct it feels from being a Blood Elf, because I don't want it to be just an Alliance Blood Elf with like emo hair. I don't want to just be like an emo Blood Elf, right? So I don't know. I've seen the thumbnail to your vid released an hour ago. Bellier does the same. Please don't call ships boats. The boat. I'm probably never going to change. I'm going to be real honest with you. You are probably right. I'm probably never going to change, though. We're secretly hoping that Blizzard is trolling us and that Volpera are going to be evil and the snake people are victims. Like halfway into the zone, it turns out the cute fox people are trying to eat you. I don't know if they would do that, because they did that fairly recently back in Warlords with the pod people. Like, if you remember, I don't know if Horde got to do this. I did most of Warlords as Alliance, but you had that quest line in Shadowmoon Valley where you're trying to find out what happened to that guy, and then you're following the trail, and like the pod people have the riddles, and then at the end of it, it's just like really horrifying, and the pod people are just messed up. I feel like they just did that, so I don't know if they would go that route again. The thing for me about Blood Elves is the gear doesn't look badass in them as much as in other races. Yeah, the weapon scaling, I think they fixed this, or at least they addressed it a little bit in one of the recent patches, but for me, the weapon scaling on female Blood Elves specifically, like, they scale really small. And when you compare that to, like, a female human where the weapons scale really big, everybody wants a really big weapon. Nobody wants, like, a little dinky old toy weapon, you know? You want to have, if you've got a sword and it's a big sword, you want it to be, like, a big sword, right? So, I can totally see. I hope the weapon scaling thing gets turned out. Although I could have sworn that was changed. I don't know if it was completely fixed, but I think it was addressed. You think Blood Elves are by definition emo? Oh man. Hey Hazel, sup Adam? How are you doing? How are you doing today? I promise I have chat on here. I'm not like checking my Twitter or whatever else I do on my phone. Checking for Animal Crossing Pocket Camp updates. You want the cute fox people as a race? I think that would be kind of neat. I'm excited to see what they come out with for sub-races, because they specifically said that this opens the door to adding more of them. We have these 6 for launch, but in future patches or expansions, we can absolutely add more of these, and that totally makes sense to me. I'm not really mad that sub-races reuse a lot of the skeleton, or even potentially the animations of other races, because that lets us get more of them. Like, we have 6 of them. If you imagine an expansion where they introduce 6 new races with both male and female variants, that would be insane. That would be a crazy amount of work, so I'm on board with sacrificing a little bit of the new model shininess in exchange to get something that is, you know, we got more of it. We have more options. I like the options. So I'm excited to see what they come out with for additional sub-races. I want to see more details about the sub-races they've already announced. I want to see exactly how Lightforged Draenei are different from regular Draenei, because it kind of looks like they just have yellow on their faces and maybe some slightly different horns. And it's kind of the same thing with High Mountain Tauren. Like, the Lightforged Draenei and the High Mountain Tauren, I think, are just in every way a straight up upgrade from the original version of the race. Like, I can't imagine wanting to make a regular Tauren instead of a High Mountain Tauren. Like, the moose antlers are just way too good. They're just way too good. Hazel, what's your favorite thing about Legion? My favorite thing about Legion. I think I've answered this before. My answer's probably different now. I've talked about loving Mythic Plus and World Quests. I think it's World Quests, actually. I think I really love, and this sounds silly, but I think I really love the World Quest system. It just feels really, really rewarding. It feels really drop in, drop out, do as many as you feel comfortable doing. It doesn't feel mandatory. I never feel like I have to clear my map of World Quests, but when I want to, if there's like a stream going on, or if I'm watching some esports, or there's something else I'm doing and I just want something to do with my hands that's in WoW, World Quests are just the right amount of uninvolved but still productive feeling that I can just go out. Because I've got my combat follower all dressed up and that stuff. I get 125 gold per quest. And then, of course, you're getting, like, artifact power and whatnot. So I just really like that, I really like doing world quests. I'm very happy that they're bringing that forward, as well as emissaries and like the caches. Hopefully they do emissary caches that contain mounts, because I'm still doing world quests to try and farm for my last 2 emissary cache mounts. I guess it's 5 now that the the Army of the Light has 3 different elements you can get out of their emissary cache. There's some good reason to continue doing the Army of the Light dailies for a long time. I've been really taking advantage of the, we just had the World Quest Rep Week. We still have it for today. I think it switches out tomorrow, where you get extra reputation for doing World Quests. So every day I've been doing all of the Court of Ferrandis World Quests, as well as the Valorhar ones. And I've been clearing the Argus ones too, just because I want to get extra of those mounts. I have opened 14 Valorhar chests. I have opened 14 of them and not seen a mount yet. And I'm sure some people have a worse number, but I'm a little bit salty about it. Minor physical differences, Culture-esque humans and high elves for sub-races. I'm really interested to see more details about those human models, because you're right, the Culture-esque humans that they showed in the trailer, a lot of the mobs actually and the monsters that they showed in the trailer, they've got some really cool looking stuff going on there. So I think that'll be kind of neat. I would rather get Vrykul than Culture-esque humans, but I haven't had a really good look at Culture-esque humans. I've wanted Vrykul for a long time. I think that would be a very cool human sub-race, and I think it's a feasible one too. I think especially because they've dealt with them again recently in Legion, I think Vrykul could be something that happens. You want an imp mother sub-race? Oh man, you might be waiting a while on that one. I hope you're waiting a while on that one. I feel like I've never seen one of them get out of their hot tub, you know? They always seem to have their nice hot tub, and they never seem to want to get out. Heimat and Torn have different available classes from regular Torn. They can't have paladins as regular Torn. Oh, that's right. That's right. You can't. They do have different class limitations. Gotcha. Okay, well, there's still your reason to be a regular Torn, then that's good. You have 2 of the Elix. Oh, from the, man, I haven't opened that many Army of Light caches because I got kind of lazy about Army of Light after I reached Exalted, and before, like, this last week, I took, like, a couple weeks off from doing those quests. So, I can definitely see why I don't have any yet, but they're cool. They're cool looking Elix. You're pretty sure Vrykul will be Horde, though? Yeah, I could see it. Vrykul are awesome, and the Valkyr. Valkyr, yeah. I like the idea of a female Vrykul that's not like a ghostly Valkyr, but just kind of like the Battle Maiden, like the human kind of version of them. I think that'd be really neat. Let's see, my tea a little cooler now. That never gets old. That's something I could actually try in a rice pudding sometime, as I'm working through the 2 pounds of rice that I have. I think it would be neat if I tried different types of tea in the rice pudding, and then you take them out like you do the bay leaf just to kind of flavor it. Like, I think a chai rice pudding would be good. An oolong rice pudding might be kind of good. Maybe that cinnamon tea that I have I think would be good. I want to try and make tea flavored things. I think rice pudding would be a really good pick for that, because it's not that different from how you make actual chai tea, like when you make it properly with the milk and all that. I think it'd be good. I think it'd be good. You love the fact that Void Elves can be locked, so finally an Alliance Elf lock. Somebody online, I don't remember where I read this, but they were really excited about finally being a Blood Elf Warlock. And I guess that must have been what they meant. They wanted to be an Alliance Elf Warlock, because I'm thinking, you can be a Blood Elf Warlock. That's not new. But yeah, I think Void Elf Lock will be kind of neat. I'm excited about the range of classes that Void Elves can be. I think Void Elves and Nightborn are going to be really popular. I think we're going to see a lot of those. I think it was very smart of Blizzard to add 2 new elf races to our existing 2 elf races, just because people love elves. Everybody loves playing, well, not everybody, but a great deal of people really love playing elves. So it's smart of them to give people more options. And I'm excited about getting more of the story behind, well, firstly, why the Nightborn are joining the Horde. I guess they have a similar story to the Blood Elves, so I can see there being some sympathy there. Like they're both sort of relating over that weakness to magic, whereas, you know, Alliance Night Elves are kind of snooty about it. But I want to hear the stories, and of course we're going to get those stories in Battle for Azeroth with those unlocking questions that we do to actually get the races unlocked. But I'm just really curious. Getting my pets ready for the first Celestial Tournament. Your guide has helped a lot, though. Thanks, Tree Frog person. So, hi, Mohammed. How have you been? How you doing? There's been drama on my server, Wormrust Accord, because so many people want to leave Horde now that you can be a Blood Elf on Alliance. It's so funny. Yeah, I think that's the real reason why they gave them, like, I think between Void Elves and Nightborn, I feel like people have wanted Nightborn more because we just got a whole eye full of them. They have really gorgeous armor sets. We have the whole city of Suramar of just, like, Nightborn imagery of their aesthetic, which is just beautiful, and people have wanted that pretty much ever since they saw them in the Legion beta. So I think that they gave the Horde Nightborn to try and retain some people that might leave, because I think a lot of people that play Blood Elves and Horde, not everybody, but a good chunk of people that play Blood Elves and Horde, only play Horde because maybe their friends play Horde, and Blood Elf is just the only thing that they can be. Or maybe they only play Horde because they really like the Blood Elf. Like, they're undoubtedly a little bit slinkier and more elf-like, if possible, than the Night Elves. They're a little bit more refined and kind of like high, like Tolkien-ish elf lore. Than the Night Elves. And now that, like you said, now that you can be that on Alliance, I think a lot of them might leave. So giving them Nightborn, which is just a really desired thing, I think might be a good way to keep them. If I was making a Horde character, I feel like Nightborn would be a very compelling option. You want a feral sub-race for Worgen and WoW? Try to treat them fairly poorly, though? Yeah, that's true. They really played up the similarities between them and Blood Elves. Night Elves basically blame Nightborn for what they did. Night Elves are kind of blamey people. They're not super big on the tact. I like how we get Zandalari. Yeah. I wish Horde haven't, or Alliance haven't really gotten like a more of a what's the word? Savage, tough, rough, feral race. It's like they give us Worgen because they wanted to give us like a clawy one. But I don't know if we have anything. I would have liked to see a troll race on Alliance. I think, I don't know why a troll race would join the Alliance. I think it would be very strange and probably like unfeasible story-wise because there's just racial tensions there within the story that I don't know if we'd be able to take trolls, but I love trolls. I love trolls. You're good, thanks for asking. Aren't Void Elves just high elves that did not get the mana addiction? Turn to the Void instead. We're not 100% clear on the exact Void Elf story. We know that Illyria is leading them now. It's implied that they didn't... We don't know yet, we don't know. There are other people that probably know more than me, because I tend to be pretty out of the loop on story, but we don't have all of the answers yet and exactly how that happened. And hopefully that comes out in the pre-patch. Maybe it will come out with the expansion. Tough to say. I can confirm that when I was in Horde in order to play with my friends, the only thing I liked about it was my Blood Elf, yeah. My server is super Alliance, so I wonder if people are going to balance out more. Probably, honestly, a lot of the things that cause server imbalances are, like they talked about at BlizzCon, people wanting to play the popular faction to ensure that they have groups for stuff. That's no longer really as important because you can cross-realm group for pretty much anything with pretty much anybody from your region. Like, it's a much wider pool now. So maybe things will balance out more. With the way that the way they set up the heritage armor system, though, that really encourages leveling one of the new sub-races from scratch, people might just roll over. They might not transfer characters. They might just start new ones. It's kind of my plan. And that does mean that if they don't release sub-races until the beginning of the expansion, which I'm kind of thinking, because I feel like some of those stories are going to take place in the new zones, but maybe not. If they don't release them until the release of the next expansion, though, I'm going to have a marathon week ahead of me if I decide to roll over again as, like, re-roll my main as a Void Elf Priest, because I'll have to level it from 20 and then do the expansion stuff and get it geared. I'm going to need to just, like, snort some lines of gamer fuel or something. I'm kidding, I don't do that. But just get all settled in with my Murloc pajamas and just bunches of tea and some healthy snacks, and just, like, live in my office for a week doing nothing but playing WoW. It's kind of what I did in the Legion launch, actually. I played a lot of WoW in the Legion launch. This is upside down. What else kind of remind me of Wood Elves? Good morning, Hazel from Japan. Thank you for all your Antaurus raid guides. Me and the wife love them. Thank you, Anthony. I'm really glad that they're helpful for people. I need to get the other 5 done. I'm still, even though I have more time now, I'm going to try very hard to not let that allow me to leave them till the last minute. I have a bad procrastination habit. I'm going to try and just get the next 5 of them out pretty much consecutively. I took today to make that video that I just put out talking about BlizzCon expectations I had that didn't end up happening, which is a much less angry video than the thumbnail would make it seem. But yeah, I'm gonna try and get the second set of 5 out. The more complicated bosses, aside from the last one, the more complicated bosses were kind of in the first half. Like the Portal Keeper had a lot going on, and A&R is just a strange concept, and then the Council had a bunch of different things too with like the vehicle. So I think that the later fights are a little more straightforward, like traditional. The last fight is gonna be crazy. I don't know when I'm gonna be able to make the guide for the last fight, because I don't know when I'm gonna be able to get footage of it. My guild is gonna take our sweet time fighting that, I know for sure. I saw a spreadsheet guide of it. It's just got so many different phases. It's just such a crazy, crazy long fight, as you would kind of expect for the last fight of an expansion, but still. I personally prefer Blood Elves because of their casting animations. I'm a mage at heart, and Belf's just stream caster. They do have really nice casting animations. I would agree with that. Like how TBC gives the Draenei because they look like demons to the untrained eye. They do kind of look like demons, actually, now that you mention it. They are Eridar. They're just like the nice ones. From Azurimus, I want to say I appreciate all your pet guides. It helped me through a bunch with more difficult trainers. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Terrio. Thank you, Terrio. Or Turio. You can take the Zandalari. You think Void Elves are Blood Elves? They confirmed it from Blizz. I'm interested to see if they were they Blood Elves that then went over to the Void, or were they the same type of elves that became Blood Elves, but they went in a different path? But, you know, you said they may have confirmed it. We'll see. Have to double check that. Damn, Nightborn would be my #1 race instantly if they burned down Teldrassil. Fighting words. The Void Elves kind of look like Draculas. They do kind of look a little bit vampiric. I was hoping that if they ever do another class in WoW, that they do kind of a blood mage with like a healing spec. I understand there's a lot of crossover with that and some other things, but there was crossover with demon hunters and like Demo Warlocks, and they still did that. So I think a blood mage class would be really cool, and I think that a Void Elf blood mage, oh, that would be so my thing. I'd have to try it out, because it would be very hard to drag me away from my Shadow Priest, but that would be so cool. Whenever I can play like a life-drainy caster blood mage spec, which you can argue is kind of warlocky, but it's not exactly what I want. I want like a Dragon Age blood mage, you know? As a Warcraft 3 fan, I think the Blood Elves might be my least favorite of the Horde. You're a sucker for the Orc story in Warcraft 3. My favorite Horde race is probably Trolls. Trolls and Undead are really cool. Very glad we get the sub-races. 16.5% of Alliance players are human, while 15.9% are Blood Elf. Might encourage more diversity. I don't know how much this plays into it, but I think a lot of the human bias in Alliance was at least, maybe not so much anymore, but it used to be because of the PvP racial. Anybody that was PvPing was doing so on a human, unless they played a class that absolutely could not be a human. For at least all of Warlords, and I think some of Mob, I don't remember exactly when that was a thing, but there was a long stretch of time when human was the race to be for PvP. So that may have had an influence. Maybe I'm overestimating that. Maybe people just like to play humans because they get the game for the very first time and they get home and they load up that screen. It's like, choose your race, and then they look at themselves and they're like, well, I'm a human. Here, this one's me. It matches. I'm gonna make it look like me. And I get that. I get wanting to relate, especially if you're not like, maybe that person isn't like a fantasy nerd. Maybe they're just like a person that hasn't been exposed to a lot of like nerd culture or fantasy culture, and they're playing the game because their friends are playing, or because their friends are playing, or maybe they just heard a lot about it, but they don't want to go, they think elves are like nerdy, and they don't want, who wants to be a nerd, so they play human. I think that could have gone into it too. Excited for 6 new character slots, right? They're so generous, they're giving us 6 of them. I thought maybe we would get 1 and we would have to pick, or none of them, and I was just all ready to delete my Demon Hunter. I probably could do that anyways, I'm never going to play that, but I think that's really cool that we get 6, because then you can get 1 of each of the new things. I know I'm going to reroll my Priest as a Void Elf. I don't know about the other ones, though. I don't really feel a need to play Lightforged Draenei. I'd have to take a look at them, but they don't look that different from regular Draenei to me. I do think a Lightforged Draenei healer, like a Lightforged Draenei Holy Paladin or Holy Priest, oh, that's cool. They can be those things, right? I didn't check. Dark Iron Dwarf is cool, but dwarves, I like my Dwarf Brewmaster. I don't think my Dwarf Brewmaster would be a Dark Iron Dwarf. I don't really have a Dark Iron Dwarf story in mind. And then on the Horde, I love Zandalar Trolls. I think the High Mountain Tauren are cool, but it wouldn't make me play a Tauren, and then Nightborn are neat. But I think my Nightborn desire is kind of sated by my Void Elf desire. I don't know why. It's just like an elf. I'm set for elves, you know? Why is gamer fuel when cocaine is less harmful? Hazel, healthy snack suggestions, since you just mentioned. Am I behind in chat? I think I'm really... Oh gosh, I'm behind. Okay. Healthy snack suggestions. Okay, so every day for lunch, because I'm really boring. I take a carrot, like a big carrot, and I chop it up into carrot sticks, and I will eat that. I usually dip it in like a little bit of ranch dressing. I will chop up an apple, and I'll eat that with like a little bit of peanut butter. I'm not trying to cut calories, by the way. I'm just trying to get like a bunch of different nutrients. And then I have a handful of mixed roasted nuts. And then if I really feel like I need some more carbs, then I'll have like a piece of toast or like a toasted pita or a granola bar or something. But that usually does me. And those are like good snack foods that I'll have if I'm snacking during gaming, because they don't really get your hands messy. Like I chop up the apple and I have it in a bowl with a fork, because biting into apples has always upset me. I don't know why. And that's a pretty clean thing to eat, because, you know, a lot of snacks are like dusty. I don't want to get my keyboard and mouse and stuff gross. I go to fairly great lengths to keep my desk pretty clean, or I try anyways. It's hard when I do my makeup there. Everything gets very glittery. But I lost my train of thought. I need more tea. Actually, I'm gonna water. Tea. So this is, it's got 2.5 minutes left until it's done. You can feel that the rice has kind of gotten a little bit thicker. It's starting to get bigger and gummier, but this is still very much a liquid thing. So I'm going to keep doing this. I don't know if it's really simmering. I'm going to turn it up the tiniest bit to try and get it a little bit hotter, because we need this to turn into rice pudding. Like, that's the end goal here. There's no chill and let it set. There's no put it in the oven. There's no sneeze on it with a magic unicorn. You know, this is really supposed to turn into rice pudding. So I'm going to sit here until that happens. And I need that to happen sooner rather than later, because I need to get a grocery list together and send that to my husband, because he's supposed to be picking up groceries in his way home. I don't have a grocery list yet. I keep trying to read from over there, but it's just too far. And that's not my eyes. It's just like on a small portion of a laptop screen. It's probably almost 6 feet away from me. Seriously, want to play a bard? Oh, just play a lute? I'm an elf girl. I had a blood elf or night elf. Orcs get a chiropractor. They do, don't they? Got a good physical therapist up in there. You're still hoping Blizzard will add more specs to every class. A melee mage, blood warlock, ranged defense, necromancer, stuff like that. That would be an interesting way of going about doing it. I think that they probably don't have the resources to make that happen for every spec all at once. And I think it would be tough to pick which ones get to go first. Although I would have said the same thing about sub-races, and not every race is getting a sub-race for sure. So, yeah. I would rather see them do brand new classes so that your choice doesn't get more complicated for raiding. Just because a lot of people will always play, especially for DPS, they're always going to play the most effective damage spec for their class, and if there's just one more to choose from, that just means that there's another one that gets dropped down that list that isn't going to get played. Of course, they could go the route of adding, like, every extra spec that gets added to a class is of a role that that class did not already have access to. But that would get weird really quick. That would get weird so fast. I don't think that would make any sense. You'd have to have a priest tank. And of course, you can't do that for paladins or druids, because they already have one of every spec, or every role. You really like the lore behind humans, specifically the paladins. I like how, even though they're my least favorite, I like the theme of the Blood Elves and the Horde is we look super civilized. We're actually, yeah, I think that's pretty neat. You were getting ready to delete too. It's funny how quickly I jumped to that. I'm like, well, new races, alright, who's getting cut? You know, you just jump to the character screen, because my loading screen is full, but that doesn't mean I play all of them. There's always something that can afford to get cut, you know? Like, when I rerolled my Hunter, I didn't really have any problems deleting my old Hunter, because I didn't really feel a special attachment to it. I played a little bit of 2s on it in Warlords, and that was kind of it. I guess I played like 10 games of 3s, those were a disaster. I fell off the bridge in Blade's Edge Arena, and, I got a really sick trap on the healer, and it was Archiligo, and I had all my cooldowns, and I just fell off the bridge. I was never a very good DPS in Arena. Arena healing was always more my jam. You know something I want to talk about? I guess that it's not really a conversation, like a discussion, but I just want to... normally, when I watch the World of Warcraft BlizzCon Arena World Championship, normally when I watch the WoW Esports Arena Tournament at BlizzCon, I get so excited to play. Like, it usually gets me right back to Arena, at least for another couple weeks. I usually go, oh man, I want to play this spec. I'm going to make some new friends. I'm going to queue all these times and get this much rating, and I'm going to learn how to play again and get my vicious tiger and whatever. I get really excited about it. And this year, that didn't happen to me, even though I watched all of the esports and it was really cool and exciting. But the thing that I saw that really turned me off is when I play Arena, I've always been an Arena healer. I don't heal in PvE, like raiding. I never heal in raids, but I always heal in 3s and 2s. And all the Arena healers at BlizzCon, like normally the thing that makes you want to play is you get into that fantasy mode where you pretend that you're there, and you're like, man, what if that was me and that was my team and we were real close like that and we were overcoming challenges and whatever. It's like a fantasy, but the thing that really broke the fantasy for me and made me realize that I can't do it is all of the healers, every single one of them, had to play every single healer. Like, you didn't see a single healer in that competition that couldn't play every single spec of healer to the highest possible level. And that's just more of a time investment than I'm ever really willing to give. Like, I could see if I really worked really hard at it, I could become maybe a Glad level druid if I practiced every day and I had a good team and I practiced, again, every single day for hours. I could maybe be a Glad level druid. But that's not enough anymore. And I guess it would be enough if I just wanted a Glad Drake once in my life, but it's not enough to play in tournaments. It's not enough to get rank 1. And even to continue playing with those top-end partners, you need to be able to play all of the healers. You need to be really good at them because you got to be able to play all the comps, and just that amount of multi-classing is just way too intimidating for somebody new to Arena to want to get into. Like, it's hard enough to imagine learning one class, you know? You can more easily see a mage healing spec that uses time magic? Yeah, I can see a time magic mage healing spec. I'm still real attached to my blood mage idea, though. What would you say is the most meta damage for raids right now? Hazel in chat. Wrong emoji level. Meta damage? Meta damage? What do you mean by meta damage? What's your favorite zone from what you've seen so far? Stormsong Valley looks amazing. Reminds me of an updated Arathi Highlands. I liked the one... What was the one? I didn't look at them. This is the part that I looked at the least, because I know the zones are going to be there when I get there, and there's nothing I can really do to plan for them. But the one that kind of looks like Northrend, the one that kind of looks like the Alliance Keep in Borean Tundra, it was one of the Culturess zones. It was like an earlier one. It looks like Valiant's Keep in Borean Tundra. I really like that one. I thought that was a really cool looking zone. Hey Hazel, what pants are you wearing? Welcome, Stone Dev. These are the Nozdormu, I guess you can only see like my butt, but these are the Nozdormu leggings from the Bangarang store. You can see they've got like some plate stuff here, and there's like a gem thingy down here, and you can see my super cool slippers. Those are the Nozdormu leggings. I also have the Kirin ones, and if I had a bajillion dollars, I would probably get more of them. I feel like I would get the Xavius ones. I like the Xavius ones a lot. None of the Dragon Aspect ones that have like a thong printed on the butt, because that weirds me out. But I think I would like the Xavius ones. I love these though, they're really comfy. First stream I've ever been able to catch. Just want to say in person that I adore your content, wish you all the best in life and baking. Thanks, Kyle. So speaking of baking, this isn't doing much. We're still very much milky. You can feel the rice is getting thicker. Is it simmering? I'm going to stop stirring it and see if it's properly, like, is there any simmer going on there, or is it just warm? I think I haven't had this hot enough. I think I've been so scared of burning this. Yeah, that's not simmering. That is not simmering. I've been so scared of burning it that I haven't let it get hot enough, especially because it's got a much wider surface area than it probably anticipates, because I'm making this in a real big pot. I'm making this in a huge pot. So the surface area is not all that big. So I'm turning it back up to medium heat. I'm going to keep stirring it because, again, we don't want to burn it. But we need to get it to a simmer. We need to keep it to a simmer. Not a roiling simmer, but, you know, a gentle one, for sure, for sure. Culturess is so gorgeous. It reminds me of The Witcher 3. Nozdormu is the coolest dragon. It's up there for me. I have a real thing for Chromie. So anything Bronze Dragonflight related is my jam. Nazarim, the swamp area, is probably going to be my favorite because it has a Titan Forge facility in there. Oh, I didn't know that. I don't know that. I guess there's always going to be Titan stuff in most of the expansions. Late to the stream, did prepping for raid tonight. Love your baking stream. Welcome, Randy. Thanks for dropping by. We're not really baking today, so you can kind of say that you haven't missed a baking stream. We're making rice pudding, which is a stovetop thing. Although, maybe it would become pudding more if I baked it. We're really very milky still. Are you simmering? Are you simmering? It smells really good. It smells great. I guess it just smells like holiday spices, like in milk. No, not simmering. I definitely have not had that hot. It's been warm, don't get me wrong. I like the idea of witch mages. Why don't you stream on Twitch? Just curious. I did actually a whole video breaking down like the different reasons in pretty great detail, but it basically boils down to we get more people over here, and I just like it better. I like being able to stream in really high quality, like on Twitch, because I'm not a Twitch partner. I wouldn't be able to stream in 1080 30 like I do here. If I had a computer that could chill a little bit more, that I could stream from my kitchen, I would even do the baking streams at 1080 60. I do the WoW streams at 1080 60, and I'm really happy with that. I had a great laugh at that question. Also, this car is a little naughty. Just so you know, the rice pudding thickens up the cooler it gets, so don't worry too much. Yeah, for sure. It does thicken up, you're right, but this is still like... I don't know if this cable is going to go far enough for you to really see what's going on. Oh, gosh! Oh, I threw you. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Sorry. I'll fix this. Hopefully I don't have to restart OBS. Oh, no, we're good. Oh, it just unplugged. I didn't break anything. Okay, so I'm going to hold this so I don't drop it into the rice pudding. So I'm holding the camera. I'm holding all the parts of the camera together. But you can see that this is still very much like... That's super, super liquid. I'm going to put this back up here now. I think it's better to be a little farther away. I don't like having my head cut off every time I get up. Okay. Kermit's my favorite paradox dragon. Where'd my tea go? Tea time. Oh, it's simmering. We finally made it simmer. All right. Now we're cooking. So let's give that I don't really need to set a timer. We're going to set like a 10-minute timer. I'm going to turn the fan on low. Hopefully that doesn't get picked up too much by the mic. I'll turn it down a little bit, but I don't want to turn it down too much because of what happened last time I turned it down, you know? I can't see. What's up, Mara? How you been? I'm excited for our guild fam to get back together at least a little bit in late November when the raid comes out. Try a lid on it. You can check it every 30 seconds. When it simmers, you know to hold it at that temp. Shut it off. If it goes to cool too fast, stir lid up again. I'm not going to do the lid thing just because the recipe doesn't tell me to cover it, and every time I've covered rice pudding in my past, I have boiled it over. Doesn't matter how big the pan is. And I could check it every 30 seconds, but I'm not going to remember to. I'm absolutely not going to remember to while I'm streaming. I forget while I'm streaming too much. They killed Kenny and Blind. Nomi burned down Teldrassil. I saw actually a pretty funny image of that on Twitter. It was pretty good. Your donations are disabled. I can't donate through Super Chat or through the through Stream Tip, because both of them should work. I've been using Super Chat. We had a Super Chat earlier in the stream from Norma. Do you ever take sections of time off of WoW, and if so, why? No, I've never taken time off WoW. The closest I came, there was a point in late Mists of Pandaria that I wasn't playing a whole lot. I would just log in to do my farm, and that was kind of it. But outside of that, I've always played WoW. Even when I'm not raiding, I always find something to do, whether it's like PvP, or sometimes I will just doing world quest farm. Like I kind of love that period and end in expansion where you get to go through that phase of like, all right, there's nothing left to do. What am I gonna do now? Am I gonna go like, is there a title that I want? Are there reputations I'm not done with? Is there a mount I'm trying to farm? Do I just want to like make a bunch of gold? Like there's always those end of expansion goals that I end up with, and that end of expansion time is really when you get to do it, as far as I'm concerned. I always like that. Broadcaster does not have donations enabled. Streamlabs. Okay. Oh yeah, we haven't been using the Streamlabs. I should take the Streamlabs link down if it's still in there, because we haven't been using that. The super chat donations should have an alert though, and those ones get kind of like pooled with. Here, I'm trying to pull up. I can't. This laptop does not like me messing with it when it's streaming. The only breaks I ever take from WoW are to play single player games. I do definitely play WoW less if I'm like really into a good single player game. Usually a Dark Souls game. I go on like marathons with a Dark Souls game where I'll play the whole thing like 3 times through. I'll play it once just for fun, and then second time with a better build that I want to try, and then a third time with like some crazy build that I don't like, a challenge build is the third time, and then I'm sick of it. But while I'm doing that triple run through, I'm usually not doing too much else. You want to collect the Throne of Thunder. Oh, I should be starting this. It's definitely thickening up now. Alright, I can probably turn it down a little bit more. Ideally, you keep stirring it often enough that it doesn't get a skin on top. I'm not that good. I'm not that talented. So, I'm just going to stir it as often as I remember. The Throne of Thunder Druid set, it looks so cool. You never end up doing Nax again once you get the Stitched Pup. I got all my Nax transmog sets. I've actually been working, so the thing that I've been working on for end of expansion for me, well, it's been making videos, but outside of that, I've been doing sets. I've been going through my appearance sets tab on my priest and trying to get all the priest sets. So I've been doing raid sets. I'm missing one piece from Gruul's Lair for a BC set, and then after that I'm done all the way through like most of the Kata sets. I guess I'm finishing like normal ICC 10 set. But I've got a lot of them done, and I'm trying to just like get as many of them as I can. And then I figure once I get done with sets, I can go back with the I can go back with Minar's Wardrobe Helper and experiment with, or like try and 100% my mod collected from various dungeons and raids. I think that'd be kind of fun. And that way, those are things that I collect that I can use on my Void Elf Priest when I switch over. The end of MoP is when I grinded the Insane title. I did my Insane title at the end of Warlords. I totally know that feeling. Well, Auntie broke my heart. I had a picture-perfect image of you as a Horde. I mean, the image isn't a lie. I used to play Horde, but it's been a couple years now. It has been a couple of years. I really, really like my Alliance stuff. Alright, alright. I bet another 5 minutes or so, and this is going to be thickened right up. It's still very soupy, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Hi, Hazelnut Coloring. How are you doing today? Nax dropped Stitch Pup this week for me. I'm just finishing set appearance achievements. I do enjoy getting those achievements with like the funny names whenever you complete a set. I really enjoy the thought that went into those names. Alright. A little more tea. I'm normally sitting at a desk when I'm drinking out of like the smaller cups, and I'm trying very hard not to spill. High five. Looking forward to seeing Stitches and Merc Deep again in Classic. I don't know what was in Classic that's not around anymore just because I wasn't there. I guess I played in Wrath before the Cataclysm, but... Of course, the Trial of Style was a monthly event like the Darkmoon Fair. That was fun. Yeah, I really wish they would tack the Trial of Style onto the Darkmoon Fair. I think that would be a perfectly good solution that they didn't listen to me about. Not that I told them, I just put it in a video, but I really like that idea. Because you could give Darkmoon tokens for it, for people that still need those, because I am never going to get a Darkmoon Zeppelin, because I am not doing Darkmoon dailies again. So I'm not going to end up with that Zeppelin. I guess I could do I don't want to do the Darkmoon dailies again. They're so, after you've done them so many times, those games are just mind-numbing. When you finish it, the Darkmoon Fair sets show up in the sets tab if you complete them. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. I thought it was just the raid sets. I'm kind of hoping that they go back and sort of make more, hoping that they go back and add more sets, like dungeon sets, to the journal. I would like to see pretty much every set that can be considered a set, including questing sets, put in there so I can go back and get missing pieces from stuff that I didn't know that I needed. Because and also really easily add a quick way to transmog those questing sets. Because I love those, like when they redid everything in Kata, they added old world questing sets to the quest rewards, and I like a lot of those appearances. Alright, I think this needs like another 2 minutes, and then it'll be pretty much done. Because we need to try at least a little bit on stream. Darkmoon Fair has sets. I haven't been there in a while. That Zeppelin, it costs so many tickets. It's so many. I don't know how I'm going to do that. Still can't get hogs from Darkmoon. I think it's bugged. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, the set replicas. That's right. Something really relaxing about the end of an X-Pack. It's like there's no pressure to do anything, and you have the freedom to just chill. Yeah. I'm alright with there being gaps. I don't like when the gaps are really crazy long. Like the year-plus long gaps at the end of, like, Warlords and Kata were just too much. But I would be fine with, like, a solid 6 to 8 months. Like, even 9 months, I think, would be alright. And honestly, I think we're probably going to end up with that. Because we haven't quite gotten our last raid yet. And I think we're still a solid distance away from Battle for Azeroth based on the fact that we don't even have a range for the beta yet. We don't know when that's going to be. Alright, so I'm going to take that off the heat. We're going to take that off the heat. I'm going to let that settle for like 2 minutes or so. I think it's going to kind of thicken up more as it cools, especially in there, and then I'm going to scoop myself a little bowl of it. Hopefully it won't burn my mouth, because it's probably still pretty hot. It was boiling like just a second ago, and it's got a lot of sugar in it, which gets really hot. And then we're going to try some and find out if it's any good. You have the dark moon Zep, but not the mini Zep. I've tried, but I can't get that mini Zep. Can't get the mini Zep either. You gave up. Have you tried? And I'm sure you have, because I get mad when people ask me if I've tried really obvious stuff, but the only thing that helped me get the mini Zep was watching, like, repeatedly and religiously studying a YouTube video of somebody getting it. I don't have one of those videos out, but I watched it from somebody else. I just Googled it, and I watched that video like quite a few times, and really nailed down the route that they took to get the mini Zep. And after like 5 or 6 tries, after having learned that route, that's when I did it. I couldn't wing it on my own though. That is some good tea. Oh yeah, that's some. It's still a pretty loose rice pudding because, again, like you said, it's going to continue to thicken up. I'm going to let it cool at room temperature for a while, and then of course it's going to go in the fridge. This doesn't make too much of it. It says it makes 4 servings. I would say that's about right. I would say you've got about 4 servings in here. You could double the recipe if you wanted like a lot of rice pudding, but you'd have to be really careful with that and do it in a really big enough pot because, again, it'll kind of expand as you're boiling it. Asmongold is a pretty good guide for mini episodes. That's how I got it. Oh, for the mini Zep. Autocorrect got you good there. Yeah. That might have been the video I used. I don't remember. It's been a long time. I definitely use the mini Zep in addition to the Zeppelin for different things. I think they're both very good pets that have very valid uses. His autocorrect is killing me. Whenever I try and type, my phone doesn't do this, but my tablet does for some reason. Whenever I try and type Murloc, like I was trying to talk about my Murloc onesie on my iPad in Discord. Whenever I type that, it autocorrects it to Murdoch's, like a name. It capitalizes it and put Murdoch's, and that's not what I'm trying to say out here. Hi from Australia. Welcome to These Works. How are you doing? Took me forever to finish Sunflower. Wasn't that the like the Plants vs. Zombies minigame? It's been a hot minute since I've done that. That was a while ago. Okay, so I have like a little dish. I'm going to take a little scoop of this. It's still going to be a little bit loose, but it's kind of puddingy. It's definitely holding together a little better. There we go. Oh, I'm also supposed to remove the bay leaf. That's right. Let's get that out of there. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, it kind of clung to the side of the thing. Hopefully it was in there for some of the boiling. Whew! Whoopsie daisies. Okay. Ah! Alright. I need a spoon. Boom! This is what it looks like so far. It's gonna get, I think, a little bit thicker as it chills out, but it's definitely good pudding consistency now. Yeah, what's up, Flabby? I made some rice pudding. Are you proud of me? Oh, that's really good. Oh, I'm into that. I'm so into that. That was really easy, too, especially if I made it a little hotter at first. I think it would have been faster. I definitely wouldn't leave it unattended. It's not the kind of thing that you can, like, throw on and then go play video games while you're waiting for it. It definitely needs stirring throughout the whole process. But that's really easy. I'm excited because I have more milk and I have more rice, and I can totally do more of that. I'm going to try it with the tea next time. I'm going to try it with, like, some chai tea, I think. Corn flour. What allied race is everyone going to be playing? You're torn between a Void Elf Rogue and a Dark Iron Dwarf Warrior. A Dark Iron Dwarf Warrior sounds so cool, bro. I'm gonna be a Void Elf Shadow Priest. I'm pretty much decided. I gotta, mess around with it, but I'm pretty sure. Are you crunching? It isn't supposed to crunch. It's not crunching, no. If it sounds like I'm crunching, it's because, I don't know, I promise you it's not crunchy. I love rice pudding, that custard taste, yeah. This is like a really warm, kind of holiday spicy one. I would absolutely recommend this. If you have a WoW cookbook and you haven't tried the rice pudding yet, you should. You like Alliance because of your server, but you can go down to Zandalari? It's a little chewy, but it's definitely not crunchy. It feels like the right consistency for rice pudding to me. Made a human mage, but humans are so boring I'm tempted to race change. There's so much sentimental value with my character, it's hard to change it, yeah. I'm gonna, I like the look of the heritage armor so much that I'm absolutely starting over. I'm not gonna race change my gnome. Even if I switch mains, that gnome is going nowhere. Like, she's important to she's just important, you know? So I would just start over. Now I want rice pudding. I really like it warm, but I think this is going to be really nice cold too. Try adding raisins. I used to make rice pudding as a kid, actually, and the recipes all had raisins in it, and that was pretty good. I think I prefer it without raisins, though. What kind of rice to use? Arborio rice. Hi, sup, Rick? How are you doing? I feel like on that. I love my female space goat. Flabby, are you going to be... I guess you can't. Like you said, all the shaman races are not sub-races, so you're pretty much out of luck unless you... You're pretty much out of luck unless you change classes, and Flabby will always be a shaman. He's even got a blue name in chat. Living for this mukbang. I'm kind of self-conscious about eating on stream, but I feel like if I bake something that's going to be done, I don't eat it. I have to prove that I did it, right? Like for all you know, I've used that plastic rice that fraudulent Chinese people sell to people when they don't want to sell them real rice. I guess that's not specific to Chinese people. I've only ever heard of it from China. But no plastic rice. That's delicious rice. Rice pudding and soda. Pandaren rice pudding. I think the bay leaf actually did add quite a bit to it. I can taste that in there, but it's not like a super herby taste, but it's good. I would want to try that with the fennel and the anise next time, though. I don't have any on hand, so I'll get some for next time. Rice pudding and soda. High Mountain can be shaman. Yeah, maybe it's just alliance race, like the alliance sub races. Maybe it wasn't horde. Fake rice. How can you do this to us? Now I need rice pudding. Figure out how to make it while hooked up to my IV. Getting a transfusion. Maybe my home nurse will help me. Oh no. Stephanie, I hope that sounds really unpleasant. I hope that you get untethered soon. Rice pudding was pretty easy though. It was pretty easy. When you said bay leaf, I heard bay leaves. You could probably throw some bay leaves in this. You could absolutely throw in some bay leaves. Get a little Kahlua going. High Mountain can be shaman. The Zandalar tools to be able to be shaman straight. Okay. I guess I'm just losing Flabby to the horde though. Bye. We'll miss you. Alright. I'm done. That was great. I'm really happy because I have that to eat now. Thank you guys so much for coming. Our next baking stream is going to be pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie, and we're doing that on... Hang on. I have it on my phone. Let me look it up here. We're going to be making pumpkin pie. It's going to be a morning stream on... Tuesday the 21st. Tuesday the 21st, we're going to be making pumpkin pie in the morning. And I hope to see a couple of you there. I just put out a new video before this, so if you didn't check that out, it's expectations that I had for BlizzCon, like WoW related, that did not happen, so that's up on my channel now. And then throughout the week, I'm going to be doing raid guides. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for the super chats, and I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye!